100 birds, you raise them for 8 to 10 weeks, 5-pound average, you got 500 to 800 pounds of food that you're raising right here on your own property. All right, so today is the day we are moving our meat birds on the pasture. We've talked about it a little bit, but we got a great deal on some Freedom Ranger meat birds this year. We were not gonna do them because of life events that are going on right now. For those of you who don't know, we haven't talked a lot about it. Annie is down and out. She is down for the count. No, not really. She had a hysterectomy. So we are dealing with carrying the load of all things that a mom does around the homestead, which is a lot. And those of you who have mom go down know how much they do. So first of all, we will give a huge shout out to all the moms and all that they do. But today we are moving our meat birds onto pasture. So we've got our brand new Joel Salatin style chicken tractor that we put together. It is 10 feet long, I'm sorry, 12 feet long by 10 feet wide, and we're getting water hooked up to it. The kids are getting the birds from up in the barn brought out to here, and then we're going to be moving our pasture raised birds along this line right now for the start of it. Right away, before we even get started, have you ever raised your own pasture raised meat birds? Number one. Number two, have you ever processed them before? Let us know in the comments below if you've ever done that, and if you have not, stay tuned because we have other stuff linked in the video on how to raise your pasture birds, how to process your pasture birds, and we might be coming out soon with a how to process your birds at your own homestead masterclass. It is a hot, nasty, muggy time here in Illinois.
97 today.
97 today is the report that I'm getting. So you walk outside and you instantly start sweating. So today is the great day of moving the mostly feathered out birds to be brought from the barn out to here. That will do a couple things. It keeps them healthier because they'll be moving daily on fresh pasture. It'll be great for us because we'll be putting up fresh chicken into the freezers. We're ready to restock. William is going to go start the bird shuttle. So we've got the golf cart that the kids are going to start shuttling birds back and forth. I'm going to get some water lines hooked up here because we have this automatic waterer that we tie in place here. It hangs, and we're going to put that into there and then getting the feed set up. So anyone who has raised meat birds before, you kind of know the drill, but we'll give you a quick rundown for those of you who are not familiar with it. So raising meat birds starts off with getting them from the hatchery. We get ours usually from our local feed store, but this year we ended up having a friend get extra ones. They had to get rid of them, so we got a great deal for basically just to take them off of their hands, which is necessary because they get expensive too. Like if you're just feeding them and they're not producing for you, that can get really pricey real quick. So about the first month, I would say, you raise them in like your brooder. You want to get them fully feathered out. You want to kind of get them ready to go to be out on pasture. And then from that point forward, normally with Cornish crossbirds, you raise them until about their 8 to 10 weeks of age. And you'll get a 5-8 pound average bird in that range. You go ahead and harvest them and process them. Check out the video up here that we'll link on how to process your own meat birds. A lot of information in there. The one thing I will say is that you will watch that video and you'll say, why did they not have sharper knives? We now have sharper knives, okay? We've learned. There's a lesson learned in that one. But here's the birds. They're getting brought out. So these Red Rangers will take a little bit longer. They're more in the 10 to 12 week range. And they are getting on fresh pasture for the first time here. Normally, like I said, we raise Cornish cross. They're a much more aggressive meat bird. They'll grow faster. But the Red Rangers are more of a heritage breed, and they're really good at foraging. So we'll have them out here on pasture. We're gonna raise them for the first time. We're gonna give you our feedback on how they were to raise. One expectation that we do fully have though, is that they're going to take more in the 12 week range to raise versus that 8 to 10 weeks. So. All right, so continuing on to give you a little bit of a breakdown. This has an open side. On this side, this quarter over here, the back of it is sheeted in for some wind and some shade protection. And then this side here, we ended up throwing a hinge on it so that we can get in and out a lot easier for this side of the birds here. But some of the questions that we often get about raising birds on pasture is, how in the world do you have a chicken tractor that has an open bottom that's to the ground? And the reason that works with raising birds on pasture is because every day, if not once a day or twice a day, you're moving the birds one square that you're moving them forward. So we're moving them this 10 by 10 by 12 space, we're moving them one space forward every day. So today they'll start off here, the next day we'll pull them forward, and so on and so forth. So what that does is it doesn't give predators time to like really burrow underneath there and cause issues. The other thing is we have hot wire fences around the property, and we also have the livestock guardian dog. So with a couple different layers of protection, it's constantly moving, so it doesn't give time for the predators to get those purchase points underneath there and to really cause issue. We've not had a big loss to any of our birds over the years when it comes to that. So that is one of the tips on overcoming that, is you have to move those tractors daily, if not once daily, twice daily. As they get older, we recommend moving it a little bit more. It keeps them on fresher pasture, it keeps the birds healthier, it keeps the ground from getting too much manure load on it. This coop, this chicken tractor is designed to raise right around 75 birds at the most. If you're going to push that number at all, we use the number 100 because it just makes math easy for you. If you have, 100 birds, you raise them for 8 to 10 weeks, 5-pound average, you got 500 to 800 pounds of food that you're raising right here on your own property. So that's the basic math on it. But these conventionally, they hold a little bit more comfortably in the 50 to 75 bird range. And if you're going to push that number at all, this is the tip, the one tip we've got for you, and we've done it before, is you're keeping them on fresh pasture. You just have to move it more often. So don't be afraid to have that space be utilized. You don't want to underuse the space. You're out here moving it and taking care of them, so you might as well maximize your efforts. But with that being said, use some due diligence and know that you're maximizing that space. So that means that in order to keep them on good, fresh, healthy pasture, you just got to move it more often. So as they mature up, as they get a bigger frame, you're going to be moving it maybe twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, and that will give them ample space and fresh pasture to get onto. So that is what we're doing today. Red Rangers, for the first time here at Heartway Farms, getting put onto fresh pasture. We're going to raise them out. We're going to see how they do, and see how that whole process goes. This is a little giant water. I forget the exact name of it. We'll put a link below if anyone's interested in it, because we love these things for raising the chicks, for automatic watering system for the birds. They're great. So they're these little float valves. They actually hook up to our hoses, so we can drop a hose out here. And then what they do is they actuate off of like a spring sensor. So you just take your hose. It's got this special device on it here that comes with it. You clip it into place here, and then you suspend it from the chicken tractor in there. So, and it works off of pressure. So once it fills up, it'll stop the water, but it will keep fresh water in front of them all the time. And it's adjustable in height because you just use a rope to have it sit at the right height. And then to clean it out, you just swish it out and dump it out. And now you have a fresh, clean water for them. So we'll get this little bit of a storage dirt out of the way here. We'll get it mounted into the coop here, or the chicken tractor. That will be hanging in there, giving them fresh water all the time. So it's kind of a cool setup. It works out really well. It keeps a lot of water in front of them, and you can set the spring on there to fill up a little bit more or a little bit less. We found that keeping it not quite all the way full is better in the pasture because first of all, it keeps more water going through fresher, number one, keeping it fresh, and then number two, if something gets into there, it's got a little bit of grace and it doesn't just sit there and leak water out. So you swish it out, and that's the way it works. So we'll get that mounted inside of here. All right, so here's our food. It's a gravity bucket. We just use it. We use a 5-gallon bucket with holes cut out right here. And they come and they eat freely right here. That's the chicken tractor that's set up right there for the meat birds. We've got water to it. We've got the gravity feed bucket in there. We just run, like I said, for our operation here, we just use a hose and drop it out there. And that way they got constant water that goes out to there. that is it. They've got shelter, they've got shade, they've got fresh grass, they've got bugs, and they've got all things necessary. So are they 100% free range? No, they're not, because if you do that, you'll probably end up with a lot of dead birds that are feeding the coyotes and the foxes and all that good stuff. But it's the next best thing you can get to it because it's controlled free range. They're getting access to bugs and grass and all that good stuff. You're raising good, fresh, healthy food that's not getting anything extra put into it. We will have a couple 100 pounds of food put up here for us here at the farm. Check out the video over here about processing your own chicken, and I'm sure that we can put a couple links to other chicken associated videos in raising meat birds and having different types of chicken tractors and all that good stuff. So thanks a lot, have a blessed day, and we will talk to you all soon.